Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We're gonna do a keyboard unboxing today, which I know is a bit unconventional for my channel, but I was a little excited when I saw this thing hit the market, and I wanted to be one of the first to review it if possible. Plus, it's gonna also give me some functionality I miss by switching to this Keychron K6. And it's none other than the 8BitDo retro mechanical keyboard that's actually loosely based on a Nintendo layout and design. So let's go ahead and get this unboxed, check it out, and I'll tell you guys why I picked it up. All right, y'all. So my K6 has been good to me, but one fatal flaw that I didn't realize when I purchased it was how much I actually use the function keys in my day-to-day job, as well as Alt Control Delete. When you're imaging servers, you kind of need those functions. So when I saw this guy come to market, I was like, yeah, I need this. Not really, but I mean, those old retro Nintendo vibes, I just couldn't resist. So getting my function keys back, as well as a couple of macro-like keys, as well as these two big macro buttons, that's gonna be nice. Or as they call them, programmable keys. So of course, I'll probably program one to Alt Control Delete. Again, I'm not much of a keyboard expert or aficionado, I would say, but we're gonna give it a shot. Man, look, I'm so excited. I'm not sharing with you guys the true unboxing. So we have the keyboard here, little instruction manual, and then our two programmable keys which plug into the keyboard. Nice little click to them. So we'll find a spot for that on the desk. Comes with all of these stickers that you can put on the keyboard, on the clickable programmable keys. And of course a USB A to C cable for charging. But since we already have one on the desk, we'll probably use that one instead for charging. And now to unbox the keyboard. So I like the feel of mechanical keyboards. I've become a bit of an addict lately. But this one, having a volume knob, it has the controls to switch between Bluetooth and 2.4 right here on the top, as well as some BA buttons right there. Your function keys, I get those back, as well as all of the standard arrow keys and your home key, your up, down, page down, stuff like that, which is important for me switching between monitors on my Dell Ultrawide, which is something else I was unaware I was gonna lose. You also have a Wi-Fi key, and then two favorites I'm assuming you can program here, but we'll delve into that here in a bit. Flipping it over, you have a couple of slots to plug these guys into, and they're labeled ABXY like on a controller, USB Type-C port, and then your dongle, which actually kind of looks like old Nintendo bricks from Super Mario. So again, pretty cool. Like the fact that you can do Bluetooth or wireless, and this, nice, that's magnetic. Oh. So let's go ahead and get this hooked up. Okay, so here's my desktop setup as it stands today. Some of you are familiar with it from the other video. I have my Corsair Dark Core mouse, of course my Blackmagic Speed Editor, my Stream Deck, and all of the other accoutrements on my desk, including now the 8BitDo keyboard. I wanted to highlight these earbuds right here. These are the Space Travel by Moondrop, and they're actually really cheap. I might talk about them later on the channel. But I actually like this keyboard so much, I went ahead and got the mouse. And it has some pretty cool tricks up its sleeve that I want to talk about later. We'll just do a quick unboxing. I actually ended up really liking this thing. Very simple packaging. Again, the 8BitDo retro vibes here. I don't know if it's 8BitDo or 8BitDo, but I'm going to say 8BitDo because, of course, it reminds me of a Nintendo. And then, of course, we have the keyboard and the matching set. And now, damn, I realize I'm going to have to probably redo my desk again to kind of match the motif of the keyboard mouse setup now because everything with the darker colors seem to be a bit off. I will admit the mouse does feel kind of plasticky, but again, that kind of goes with the retro vibe. All right, so before we get back to reviewing the keyboard, I figured I'd do another little close up of these Space Travel earbuds by Moondrop. They remind me a lot of the game Starfield I'm currently playing on Xbox. They really do have that, futuristic slash retro vibe at the same time. They really do accent the keyboard and mouse well. So, back to the retro keyboard by 8BitDo. Here you have your power switch, which has Bluetooth off and 2.4, as well as your volume knob. And then you have your connection button. You have your start button, which is how you set up your macros. And then you have this button with a heart on it. And that's to switch between the different profiles. And then, of course, you have your A and B buttons up here, which are for macros, which we're going to go ahead and set up here in a second. So to set up macros is actually very easy. You're going to hold down the star button. The light is going to blink. Once it's blinking, you know you're ready to go. And then I'm just going to do Alt Control Delete and press the A button. When the light turns off, it's synced. That's pretty much it. While I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and set up the B button as well. And for B, I'm just going to go ahead and do the Windows lock button. So that'll be kind of my daytime setup when I'm not working on my MacBook, when I'm working on my work computer. So again, you just hold down the start button until it blinks and then press whatever keys you want as a macro and tap the big button, and that's it. You're ready to go. So like I said, that's going to be my daytime setup. I'll be able to lock and unlock as well as use Alt Control Delete when I'm imaging or setting up servers in my application that I use for that purpose. And like I mentioned, I'm not much of a keyboard pro, but a little bit of backstory on these two keyboards. The 8BitDo has V2 white KL box switches, and the Keychron K6 has Gateron blue switches. I got some raised keycaps to give it a little bit better profile and to have a little bit better feel when I'm typing. And you'll be able to hear it in a minute. These keys are a lot more clicky on the Keychron K6, whereas the 8BitDo, it's a little bit smoother, a little bit more buttery, but they still have that crisp click. So to say I have a few mice is quite the understatement. I really didn't need this 8BitDo mouse. I really just got it for the aesthetics, the laws, if you will. I really thought it would set off the setup of the desk, but now I'm gonna have to redo everything. So to show you some of the other mice I have, including ones I've shown here on the channel, here's what else I have that this is compared to. You have the MX Master 3, I forget which variant. You have the Steel Series, I forget which one that is. And then, of course, the Corsair Dark Core I just mentioned. I think the Steel Series is a Rival 3. So you have all of these great mice that this 8BitDo is having to live up to. But it has a few tricks up its sleeve that those three mice really did not do well. And it has to do with my MacBook Pro and any Mac just in general. And I'll show you guys here in a second what that actually is. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over on the KVM over to the Mac. We'll go ahead and get logged in. Just ignore the screen for a couple more seconds. And here we go. So I'll just load up ESPN real quick just to show you guys. So there's actually a touch sensitive scroll right in the middle of this mouse. And for the life of me, to be honest with you, it does not work this well on any of the other mice I have. Not even MX Master that has the scroll function. So just being able to tap and slide on the mouse like that is wonderful. But it also has forward and backward and up and down using the simulated D-pad here. So that's up and down. And then you can go forward and backward between web pages with the left and right arrows. To me, that's one heck of a creature comfort I did not expect. So let's do a quick recap of all of the features on the box of the 8BitDo or 8BitDo retro keyboard. You have an 87 key layout. It does both Bluetooth as well as USB 2.4 gigahertz. You have the KO box switches, PBT keycaps, which feel really good and give it a nice retro aesthetic and feel like an old school keyboard. You actually have hot swappable key caps and switches. The switches I really was not expecting, as well as the programmable keys. You also, on the front of the keyboard, have space for additional input devices. So you could, in theory, plug in additional peripherals to the ABXY on the front of the keyboard, although that may be future plan. 8BitDo or 8BitDo, if you're listening, please, please, for the love of God, make a Nintendo Zapper that I can hook up to the front of this. That would just be awesome. I mean, you can make it a mute button for Teams or something, but I would just love to have that on the desk. That would just set this entire set off perfectly. Okay, so final thoughts on the 8BitDo retro keyboard. The weight on it is awesome. Not a lot of flex, no real deck flex as far as I can tell. The macro feature, although some of these are, form over function and novelty, I'd say they still nailed the function in my opinion. The keyboard is awesome. It includes, the in-key rollover, all of the normal accoutrements you would see with a keyboard in this price range or higher in some cases. As well as, like I said, the ability for different profiles and macros puts it over the top at its price point as far as I'm concerned. Of course, no backlighting, but again, that's way more of a novelty than some of the other features this thing packs. The included 8BitDo mouse, though, again, as a Mac user, when I'm not working, the ability to scroll just blew me away, especially at its price point. Under $130 before tax. I got both the keyboard and the mouse, and they have, in fact, changed the way I work and play compared to what I had before that cost significantly more. So I would definitely recommend you check it out if you are so inclined or on the bubble. Again, if you get it from Amazon and you don't like it, you can always return it. But for me, it's definitely a keep until I find a much better option, which may be hard to beat considering how it interacts with my MacBook. If you guys like content like this, maybe I'll do more reviews in the future, even though I'm a self-proclaimed non-keyboard expert. I'll do it just for you guys in case you're interested. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I do content like this. See you guys on the next one. Later.